All right, everybody, today I'm going to talk about hope. And as I have been thinking about hope, something that's really, really interesting is that actually in our body, there is something called hope molecules. So, hope molecules are myokines, and myokines are peptides that are produced by our muscles. And there's something that's really, really good for our brain and our body. They do so many positive things to reduce all sorts of things like inflammation, to reduce the risk of cancer, yada, 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 the body stuff. But I'm a psychologist, so what am I interested in? Hope molecules, these peptides, actually are really good to reduce stress. That's why we call them hope molecules, because there's a real benefit of having hope in our life. Hope does something positive for our psyche, for our sense of self, for our sense of relationships and connectivity to other people. So when we're thinking about hope molecules and we're thinking about hope, what actually is hope? And when I just looked up the definition of hope, hope is actually having trust. We have some sort of assurance, something that we're believing in, something that we're focused forward to. Spring, the theme of hope, that things are going to be green again, that there will be seeds planted, and that the creation will work, that these little seedlings will sprout and new growth will come. And there's this natural longing as we look around and we understand nature, which also does some amazing things for us biologically and mentally, by the way. But it just renews something inside of us when we get slow and still and notice what are these beautiful things around us. I have hope and I have some trust. I think why people really like getting into nature is that there's an easy draw into this hope experience and an easy draw into trust. We know that when things are planted with the right ingredients, with the right environment, those seedlings will grow into a plant, into something that will benefit us and the creation around us. When we feel the wind, we have an assurance of what that is. We have trust, we have hope. We can look about nature and we can have an experience of something that we know throughout our whole life. And it's really powerful. To me, as an attachment-focused clinician, it reminds me of the power of attachment as well. Attachment really evokes hope in us because we are drawn into this natural experience of longing for relationship. We were born into this experience to trust that one other, bigger, wiser other, as Bowlby would say, will be there for us to meet us in our immutable place. Now, eventually, relationships, of course, fail us, and then we're kind of worried, and we get rattled inside, and we worry that there's something fallible about us that will stop those things from happening. But we can't stop hoping. And we can't stop risking that maybe this will be the relationship where I can actually find my footing. We're seeking hope. And so in our relationships, we're hoping because that's a natural curiosity and that's a natural longing. These are spiritual experiences. Hope is a word synonymous with spirituality because it's a spiritual practice. We hope to trust. And trust, when we look up a definition of trust, is really about a firm belief in relatability and reliability. So the reliability of relationships, the reliability of a seed being planted, the seedling sprouting up and growing into something that is going to nourish the earth, nourish us, help to make this natural phenomenon of life continue. Hope molecules are our body's expression of creation and attachment and how these things naturally move and grow. So I think two things here. When I'm talking about hope, I'm talking about hope molecules. And the two practical ways, especially in this season, it's such a spiritual time for so many faith orientations that we come alive to notice what is the greater meaning that I am drawn into. So these two great things, hope molecules, how do we produce them? Well, the peptides, these myokines, that's a great word. I had to actually listen on the internet to learn how to pronounce it. But the myokines, those hope peptides, there's only one way they're produced. And that's through physical activity. It's our muscles, our fibers. Dr. Daniel Amen says one of the greatest tools we have to cool down the hot brain, one of the fastest ways is cardio. So a great spiritual activity. This is a great season. Easter is a time of year to get out for a walk in nature, get some cardio, produce some of those hope molecules, and look around and wonder about this natural existence that we're in and all the marvels of how there's just natural orientation for us to have hope in. So number one, getting moving creates hope molecules, which are good to reduce stress on our brain. They have great impact on our brain. Number two, this is more the spiritual practice of hope. How do we orientate ourselves to hope? And I do hope that we will, that we will take some time always, but especially in these seasonally important times, whatever faith-based calendar you're following, I follow the Christian calendar, that we get slow. So the spiritual practice, which is also amazing for our brain, is to get slow and still, get quiet. Take a few moments with no distractions and think about these things. Whether you just ask yourself these two questions: what do I think about nature, and how does it evoke hope in my life? How does it help me to have a sense of my own value and the greater value that I am connected to? Another great question is just about attachment. What do I hope for in relationships? And although it be hard sometimes, some of us have had very terrible experiences where we could give up, but we keep trying no matter the dire circumstance. Why do I have hope in relationships, and why do I give it one more chance? And then looking into those relationships and pondering that natural desire for us to be in relationship with others. All right, you guys, I hope you have a fabulous day. I hope you're having an amazing time with the people that you love in the beauty of nature, whatever it may look like, wherever you are. And yeah, if you are not doing so hot for whatever reason, also remember that there's amazing health practitioners out there. If you're in Alberta, we have all sorts of resources that are easy to access. And if you're somewhere else in the world, I am assured that there are people who are drawn into this people helping position that would be there for you. Thank you, Tara Boothby, Sojourn Psychology.